At least 15 people have died from cholera in the Greater Accra region alone between June and July in what health officials are now describing as an outbreak of the disease. 878 cases in all have so far been recorded in health facilities in the Greater Accra region. Health officials are meanwhile warning the number of fatalities could rise if necessary measures are not put in place to address the current insanitary conditions in the capital.
The Accra metro area at 604 had the highest number of reported cases, with 8 deaths coming from Adabraka, Osu, La, Nima and surrounding communities.
And we realize that this year is one of the years that it peaks. You know, it's a sinusoidal kind of. So this year is one of the peaks. That's why before the rains, we as a region went to almost all the press houses and the media houses in this region. To date, as we are saying now, we have had 878 reported cases. These are cases that have reported at the hospital. Some may be doing their own things at home or even at other centers, which are not the orthodox healthcare facilities. So we'll be missing out with those ones. But the healthcare facilities, this figure is what we have recorded. So we'll say maybe this is just the tip of the iceberg.
The La Dadekotopon district has also recorded a total of 190 cases, with 5 dead so far, a situation which has compelled officials at the La General Hospital to convert its outpatient department into a cholera unit, having been overwhelmed by the high number of cases.
If we continue to wait, when it starts coming up, then we run to us doctors or to hospitals to find out how many cases are there or somebody is dead, that it will not stop the problem. The problem is those in charge of our environment should make sure the environment remains clean.
As part of measures to contain and manage the outbreak, a special cholera unit has been set up at some health facilities in the capital. One of such facilities can be found here at the Adabraka Polyclinic, which runs a 24-hour service to deal with the outbreak. Officials here say a total of 202 cases have been handled, even though she fears the number could shoot up.
Sometimes we can get more than 10 a day. Yep. As they start having the diarrhea, you know, the person is losing body fluids, okay? If care is not taken, they can enter into shock and then anything can happen. So what we start doing is we rehydrate them, okay, with IV fluids, and then we start the antibiotics, which is the tetracycline, okay? That is the drug that we use for the cholera. So we start with that, and then other medications that they need, we give it to them as well. We need a renovation here. We need a serious renovation here. You can see how this facility is. Look at the floor. Everything is broken, gloves and other things that we use to work over here, you understand?
Cholera is an acute diarrhea illness which can result in a profound and rapidly progressing dehydration and death. Health officials are appealing to the general public to practice good personal and environmental hygiene to prevent them from contracting the disease, which is rapidly spreading in Accra. Matilda Pomaga for JoyNews, Accra.
Renowned economist and politician Kwame Pianim has criticized the refusal by governments to admit the country's economy is in a crisis, explaining that denial is not helping a comprehensive resolution of the crisis. He was speaking at a stakeholder forum organized in collaboration with the central bank to revive the economy. Vice President Kwesi Emisa Arthur, who opened the forum, urged participants to map out concrete guidelines which will, in the spirit of the Senchi Accord, bring the country's economy back on track.
It is being claimed the challenges are temporary or largely driven by external factors. The Senchi consensus was explicit on the fact that what was needed first and foremost was to get a handle on the growing structural imbalance in government finances and to restore policy credibility, which has sunk to a historical low.
The aim of the two-day forum, like many that have come before it, is to open a dialogue on effective revival of the economy under the theme boosting Ghana's foreign exchange resources. Chairman of the occasion, Kwame Pienim, said the country is running out of time to salvage the economy.
Ghana is facing a major economic crisis, and yet most public pronouncements seem to be in denial of the gravity of the crisis. For all our sakes, it is better be earlier than later, for time is running out for peaceful, orderly, and democratic transformation.
He said the recent labor agitation and the mid-year budget review were missed opportunities that authorities could have used to seek public patience and buy-in.
One would have expected the 2014 mid-year budget review to come out with requests for budget cuts and invite Ghanaians to make commensurate sacrifices. The recent demonstrations reinforce the idea that if the managers of our national economy do not admit publicly there is a serious fiscal crisis and open our books to the leadership of organized labor, we cannot agree on a social contract which is badly needed to get labor to give us fiscal space to tackle this urgent problem.
But Deputy Finance Minister Mona Quartey outlined what government believes to be the causes of the current economic situation and steps it is taking out of it.
These include: 1. Efforts to boost SME production through the setup of an SME fund and other funds like the Ghana Infrastructural Investment Fund. 2. Provision of stimulus to the private sector, particularly for our exports, pharmaceuticals, poultry, textiles and garments, and agro-processing sectors.
Central Bank Governor Henry Kofi Wampa said many more revenue generation avenues, including the tourism industry, can be explored.
In addition to these measures, the commitment to macroeconomic stability is paramount and remains a key parameter for investors. The Bank of Ghana and Ministry of Finance will continue to work towards price and exchange rate stability to provide the enabling environment for sustainable growth. This, together with ongoing infrastructural development in the road, energy, communication, and technology sectors, should help in making Ghana's non-traditional exports competitive.
Vice President Emisa Arthur urged businesses and other stakeholders to share strategies to reverse the current trend.
We decided that it was necessary to strengthen regulatory authorities to protect consumers and investors, to enforce standards, and to support small and medium enterprises to provide jobs. We further resolved to tackle the energy crisis in order to propel growth. Today's dialogue is therefore an opportunity to practically confront problems of balancing our trade by reducing imports and boosting exports through appropriate short-term policy interventions. You have gathered here today distinguished citizens of our country whose expertise, experience, and insights will hasten the achievement of much-needed economic policy interventions necessary to reverse the imbalances in our foreign trade.
Director of the Kesban Group of Companies, Kwabena Kese, has been arrested for alleged fraud and money laundering. A confidential national security document intercepted by MindYourOnline.com accused him of using one of his firms, Kesban Shipping, Forwarding and Trading Limited, to facilitate the outward transfer of large volumes of foreign exchange to spurious and phony addresses from January 2013 to February 2014. Kwabena Kese is said to have siphoned an amount of $127,931,727.65 and transferred same to unknown foreign destinations using fake documentation. According to the intelligence reports, the transactions were very frequent, sometimes almost daily, and involved Ghana's hard-earned dollars, thereby placing a huge burden on the cedi-dollar ratio. In 2013 alone, the company is said to have transferred $112 million $814,179.65 through a local bank to so-called shippers, whereas the invoices issued did not bear the official addresses and telephone numbers of the shippers. In January and February 2014, the company transferred additional $15,170,548 out of the country under similar pretenses. According to the document, some of the shippers referred to by the company were individuals rather than firms or business entities. The Bureau of National Investigations is therefore coordinating with local and international partners and banks to unravel the case. We'll delve more into this matter later on News Desk at 10. Now, the current economic challenges facing the country has been attributed to recklessness and deep-rooted corruption perpetuated by the ruling NDC. The 2012 flag bearer of the NPP who made the claim says the situation, though disturbing, can be fixed with the right leadership. He was speaking at Akotolante in the Odododio constituency in the Greater Accra region, where he launched his campaign for the party's flag bearership.
Of running mate Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Nanado, in his address, dispelled rumors of ill health and expressed his preparedness and desire to lead the party in its bid to recapture power from the ruling NDC.
I do not know what 70-year-olds are supposed to feel like, but I feel well. My body is in good shape. My mind remains as sharp as it ever was. I want to assure all of you gathered here that contrary to the propaganda out there, Nana Akufo-Addo is emotionally, intellectually, psychologically, physically, patriotically, and spiritually strong enough to lead this party and our dear nation, Ghana. Ghanaians are impatient for the MPP to finish its internal contest and focus on what matters most, the restoration of hope and the development of our nation. From what I hear on the ground, from the endorsements and declarations of support for my candidature, both publicly and privately, I believe in all humility that I am the party's best bet to winning power in 2016.
He added, the challenges facing the country currently were challenges that could only be fixed by a competent team with decisive leadership, something the ruling NDC lacks.
Ghana is not working. Ghana should work again. And with me and the MPP, you the people, and with God on our side, Ghana will work again. We are 2 years in the second term of the NDC. The better Ghana they promised in 2008 and repeated in 2012 remains an empty and cynical slogan, as is their Eledi campaign. The crisis facing our country can be cured, but can only be cured by a competent and dynamic team with a program for determined implementation under the decisive leadership of a person with a clear vision of Ghana's future. It gives me no pleasure to say that things are unfolding just as we had predicted, and that indeed the chickens have come home to roost. The hole this country is in is a result of the desperation of the NDC government to win the 2012 elections at all costs. The reckless overspending, which resulted in a budget deficit of 8.7 billion cedis, representing 12.1% of GDP. The widespread corruption the payment of millions and millions of Ghana cedis of our money in dubious judgment debts, the disregard of value for money in the award for contracts is what has brought Ghana down on its knees.
Present at the launch were several NPP MPs. For Joy News, Kwabna Chenchen Hineboating.
That's it for AM News. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amano. Benedict Owusu is up next with sports.
Hello, good morning, and let's talk sports now on the AM show with me, Benedict Owusu. And Herbert Aldo officially began work yesterday as head coach of Accra Heartful. He supervised the team's gym workout at the Accra Sports Stadium, and he was assisted by his deputy, Stephen Abugri. Goalkeepers trainer Edward Ansan and team manager Sabankwe were also there to see the exercise. The former Black Stars coach indicated he was happy with the team's attitude and commitment to his cause. Ado took charge of Accra Heartful from Interallies last season and guided them to safety on their debut season in the Premier League. And Malaysian Kalatalan side are on the verge on terminating Prince Tego's contract after the Ghana International failed a medical. The Super League side are seething with rage over Tego's decision to return to his native country. Against that, they've advised him to stay and restore his level of fitness. Now, the 28-year-old joined the side in April this year after terminating his contract with Tunisian outfit club Africain. But the Black Star striker has twice failed a fitness test, according to head coach George Boateng, and officials are losing patience with him over his attitude. The former Accra Heartful star has failed to report to the team's camp, and Talan football advisor Tansri Anwar Moses has revealed they will decide his future in the coming days. Now let's talk some Division 1 League football here, and the referees committee has named officials for the midweek fixtures in the promotional playoff for the Division 1 League. Now referee William Abovi will handle the top of the table clash between BA United and Royal Tamale United in Cape Coast. The list of referees and assistants for the match day 2 fixtures on Wednesday in Cape Coast and Second D include the match that's between BA United and RTU will have referee William Abovi, as I stated, and assistant line 1 will be Efa Tete, and line 2 will be Alex Enim. The match official there, and Arsenal versus Wa Africa United, we will have referee EO Ankara and James Osafo. So now we'll talk some transfer news. Now Liverpool have signed Belgium striker Divock Origi from Lille for a fee of £10 million. Now Liverpool wanted the 19-year-old to join them immediately, but Lille insisted the player return to the French club on loan for another season. Origi, who played for Belgium at the World Cup in Brazil, has scored 6 goals in 35 appearances for the League One side. Arsenal, Tottenham and Atletico Madrid were all linked with the player, but he has opted to join Belgium teammates that's Simon Mignolet at Anfield and become Brendan Rodgers' 6th summer signing. Now return to Africa, and Liberia has suspended all football activities in an effort to control the spread of the deadly Ebola virus. There was a risk of infection because of football is a contact sport. Now, the Football Association said the number of people killed by the virus in West Africa has now reached the 672, according to new UN figures. And the major regional airliner Askai said it had halted flights to Liberian and Sierra Leonean capitals because of growing concerns about the virus. It is the second airline company to take such a decision following the deadliest Ebola outbreak ever. And you know, clubs are preparing ahead of the new Premier League season, and I'm talking about the European clubs. Most of them are in the USA preparing, and they are playing Guinness Championship there, which has got 8 teams. We've got Liverpool there, Manchester United, Roma, AC Milan, and with the 8 teams, they've grouped them into 2 groups. So we have 4 in Group A and 4 in Group B. Yesterday, some matches were played. Manchester United took on Inter Milan, and at the end of the game, it was goalless, and Real Madrid managed. They actually lost to Roma by a goal to nil. So if you check how the pairings are in Group A, we've got Manchester United. They are leading. You know, they have a new coach, Louis van Gaal, and is really doing a lot of good to the team now. They've won 2 matches and things are really going well for them. So they have 6 points there, and Roma are second with 3 points. Inter Milan, they are third in Group A with 2 points, and Real Madrid, they are the last, that's 4th position with a point. And in Group B, Manchester City, they've played only a game and they are up with 3 points. Olympiacos have played 2 matches, they have 3 points. Liverpool have played 1 match, they have 3 points, and AC Milan, they have played 2 matches with no points. So the next game tomorrow is going to be between Liverpool and Manchester City. And now the winner of Group A will face the winner in Group B in the final. So that's it for your sports here on the AM Show with me, Benedict. So make sure you stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the program.